Oh, yeah.
As you were saying. All right, this is 28. This is a classic one, going back to the basics.
Back to the basics.
Let's talk about life.
Cool.
How's life?
It's good.
Yeah.
Well, that's a fucking stupid answer.
Means nothing.
Yeah. Ups and downs, highs and lows, but still trudging through it. So, I'm here for, what is this, 28? Here we go. Still here.
Still here?
Still here. What about you, man? How's life?
Trudging through it. Sometimes it feels like no progress has been made. That's what I wrote about it in my blog. You can find it on KyleCast.com. The last couple of weeks I've been feeling kind of depressed and stagnant, and like we talk about how you feel self-doubt, like, am I really capable of anything? You know, who am I to try to do something different? Maybe I should just get a regular job. You know, the finances start worrying me.
So that's been I would definitely like to talk about that. So that's bothering you now, finances.
Yeah.
Because it was. So how long's it been?
I hit my 1/2 unemployment anniversary.
So you've been
which
unemployed.
Means I get 6 months of unemployment, and I've been unemployed for 3 months now.
Okay.
So I got 3 more months of living off your taxpayer dollars.
Okay, but
after that.
But your mood was different before. It was I'll handle it, you know, or you. I think at the time we both had this feeling that like we were doing so much and like progressing so fast that it was like 6 months seemed so far away. At least in my mind, you know, when it happened, like I was like, oh wow, 6 months he has to use, you know, like damn.
Yeah.
So what's changed and how does it affect your day to day?
Deadlines are interesting in every way. Like, so as a writer, when you get a deadline, any writer knows it. So if you've got a paper due on Friday and you've got all week, usually start working Thursday night. So I think that's kind of what 6 months did to me too. It's like, oh, I got 6 months, I can kind of relax. And I feel like I've been relaxing too much. You know, I talk about every single goddamn podcast, I talk about getting up earlier. And this is the first day that I got up before 10 in 3 months. And
we had to, you know, we planned to do the mile like a week ago or whatever, and we just didn't wake up. I don't think we woke up in time. And then it's just too hot, and then the day just gets in the way, you know. You
rise to the task at hand, and if you don't have a task that's difficult, then you're just not going to rise.
Yeah.
I think that's what procrastination is when it's like, what are you trying to do? And does it really need to get done, or do you just wish it would get done? And if you wish it would get done, then good luck.
Yeah.
But if it actually needs to get done, then, you know, if you're capable, you'll do it.
So this week I've been waking up early, but then just kind of not finding the energy to get out of bed. That's pretty much most mornings anyways.
Because you don't need to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, so we're both kind of saying the same thing. We're kind of disappointed in ourselves over the last period of time or whatever. But the goals we set last time, we achieved every single one of them, right?
Yeah. I think, or at least we are achieving. I don't think we set anything for this podcast because everything was set for 30 days out.
Well, even so,
but we've
still achieved all.
Yeah, we've still been cruising through all of them with no issues. Yeah,
and
we haven't missed a day of meditation, missed a day of running or working out since the last pops, right? Since the last me and you. Yeah. So I mean, we've been, and the diet's been solid. No external foods. You know, a few hiccups with the diet, with what we do have, with what we constantly eat, which is no big deal, but still, I don't know. Like, there's real no reason for me personally, I'm gonna speak for myself, to feel low. But you know, I'm in the gym and I'm like getting frustrated that I can't lift the same weight that I lifted a few days ago, or like today at the track, running a slower time than the last mile. You know, just frustrating, kind of like, where's my mental mind at, and was it in my head, like during the second and third and fourth lap, was it in my head, you know, could I have gone faster, and like, am I
You're talking about expectations. You've got all these expectations in yourself, and I have all these expectations on myself too. and I think they hurt us. I think they hurt us really bad. I think we're fucking up in a way. It's like from both ends. I think we expect too much from ourselves, and then in a way, not enough. It doesn't really make sense, right? What I'm saying is, okay, so watch this Tony Robbins documentary, which Steve did not like.
This fucking jackass.
He's called I'm Not Your Guru on Netflix, and Tony Robbins, for anyone that doesn't know, is a self-help guy. He holds these seminars. People pay $5,000 to come to this 6-day event or 7-day event, and he works through their problems. Some of them he doesn't even talk to, really. There's audience members, but it's a transformation thing. They do exercise and they work on what they want in their lives. But anyway, one thing I took from it was that Tony Robbins says most people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in a decade, or something like that. But basically the idea is that we think we can do so much in a short amount of time, and we don't think of it as a long-term thing. So what I mean by that is, like, all the habits that we've had are really, really good long-term things. Like, we're keeping ourselves in good health. But then there's the short-term, like the day-to-day struggle is what really hurts us, I feel like.
Yeah, well, I feel like it just kind of kills the rest of me. So like having all that structure kind of like kills like my creativity or my will to want to do something, or it just always feels like I'm making an excuse for why I don't want to do the next task at hand. So whether that's even something enjoyable as blowing glass or whatever, or something as, you know, tedious as, you know, cleaning or whatever it is, I feel like I'm always, or even just getting up in the morning, I feel like I'm always even just like sitting in that indecision, in that indecisiveness.
I don't think my goals are defined enough. Like, you're saying the next task. But is there anything that actually needs to get done? Or is it just stuff you would hope that would get done? That's kind of the same thing I was talking about before.
Well, with being unemployed, like, do you want to have do you want to feel like you're back in like a workplace where you're that regimented to where...
I think I need it in a way.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I think I went too far that way this time. Like...
Too far regimented?
Yeah. But I don't know, because it seems to be good. I look over at the board and I feel good. You know, I've been writing down everything, and like I see, you know, all these like highlighted marks and stuff like that, and it's like the days are full, you know, so it's not like I'm being lazy, but I still have this idea that I could have done more in that week, or I could have done, it's almost like looking at it and being...
But you just said
I know.
You went too far, so that doesn't really jive.
I know. It's just back and forth. I don't know, maybe it doesn't help that much seeing it, I don't know.
I think for me, it's about sustainability right now. I know if I do the exact same thing I'm doing right now, I will run out of money and I'm done. And then I have to figure something else out. So my number one thing has to be finding a source of income. And you've kind of got that handled right now, or do you not?
No, mine's steadily, like slowly declining. Like I have reserves that are built up in other places that I'm kind of depleting right now. So, like whether that's a 401k or whether that's, you know, borrowing from, you know, parents or whatever. Like,
is that the goal? Like, do you have a number one goal right now that you're moving towards? Because that might be it too. I feel like if we don't have a definable thing we're moving towards, you kind of get lost.
Well, I feel like with like the glass, I'm doing a lot, and like the progression is there, and I see myself making money at it, and I see myself, you know, it's been happening, but it's just I'm not pushing myself enough in the selling aspect. Like I'm doing more in the studio than I am actually selling, and I'm not actually seeing any sort of return on it because I'm not actually out there doing anything. So only all of my sales are just coming from online right now. So and that's just, and with these new goals, I've actually put a whole bunch of more, you know, inventory into my store on Etsy and stuff like that. So like, yeah, that's awesome. Now I actually have stuff in my store compared to before when I didn't. But so like, yeah, I do see my financial situation getting better with these.
So the next thing would be then selling goals, right? You'd have to go out and sell a few times a week. That probably takes care of it.
Yeah.
I think we're giving into resistance. I think we both know the things that we're supposed to be doing,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
we're lying to ourselves. And like you said too, it's like we have a lot of things that we're trying to accomplish every day. Things that are good, things that are running, lifting, meditation, all these things. But they tire you out and they put you in a state where you go, oh, well, I've done enough already.
Yeah.
But if you're ignoring the things that actually need to get done, then you're actually moving backwards maybe.
Yeah.
That's probably what I've been doing.
Well, I don't know if you're moving backwards. You're taking care of yourself so that when you do get around to doing the business side of things, you have a clearer mental state, but still you're kind of just delaying it almost, you know?
I want to shift topics a little bit.
It's just a water spill right now. No big deal.
I want to shift topics a little bit and talk about so stagnation, particularly just staying in the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
We both know how bad it is.
Yeah.
But we also fall into it. And I think for me, my mind is kind of screwed up and I'll forget what I'm capable of. And what I mean is even interacting with people in a regular way. So if I do get out of the house early and I'm around people and
you kind of remember that you're a social person that can be able to handle
things go fine. Yeah, I kind of understand that I can function in the world. But if I wake up at 11, lift with you, then meditate by myself, then hang out in my room, I kind of forget the social skills,
Mm-hmm.
and then the ideas that I have, the things that I actually need to do to make money. You can't make money unless you leave the house, right? So if I'm in that mood where I'm kind of depressed and I think that I suck and like, oh, I don't want to be around people, that's when all of my goals seem even more impossible, and that's when I feel like I'm taking steps back.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. I can see that. I don't think that that's necessarily what's going on for me right now.
I didn't say it was.
Yeah, but I think that's good if you can identify that's what's up with you. Yeah.
So when you're making your schedule and it has like those things, I'm thinking about doing a similar thing. What I want to do is map out events going on in Austin.
Yeah.
And force myself to go to those and maybe video them, make them into like video editing projects.
Yeah.
You know, and
cool. Nice.
I think that's the next step for me because another thing we talked about during the goal setting is like not biting off more than you can handle, right? Probably went a little under instead of over on the goal for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have done more and definitely will do more.
Yeah. It's not even the end of the 30 days yet, so.
It kind of is. I'm going home tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do some good stuff when I'm home, but.
Yeah, for me, it just feels like it's all self-brought on. I don't really have anything bad going on in my life, but I have this weird dullness that I need to satisfy for some reason. You know, when it's 10:30 at night and I don't have anything going on, there's a weird part of me that's like, you should be doing something, and it's really just like, well, no, I don't have to be doing anything right now. I can just go to bed, or I can, I should be trying to reset my sleep cycle, but yeah, I don't know. I always put these weird expectations on my nights and stuff like that, and I just need to stop doing that. There's really nothing wrong right now, and everything is exactly how it should be, but I seem to just create drama. So
yeah, that's something we were talking about earlier about beliefs. It's like when you were doing the mile, you had this expectation yourself. It's like, if I do better, I can feel happy. If I don't do better, I will feel bad. That's what it is.
I know,
right?
this is stupid. I know, yeah.
And
it doesn't even fucking matter.
We all have that.
Yeah.
So it's that's kind of what I was talking about too. It's a self-doubt thing. I think that's the root of it. It's like not believing in yourself, and that's why we're afraid to lose things. So let's say you actually do have a steady job right now. Let's say you're a person with a very good job. I think a lot of people still know what it is to have fear in a steady job of just being fired. And I think it's because you lose the idea that you could get another job.
Yeah, that you're good enough.
That you're good enough. So you have all these beliefs in place. It's like, if I keep my job, I'm happy. If I get a promotion, I'll be happier. If I lose my job, I'll be sad. If this girl doesn't like me, I'll be sad. If I don't run a mile faster than this, I'll be happy. And it's all these if-then statements. And I think that's what causes a lot of our moods. And it doesn't really need to be that way, but I haven't figured out a way to beat that either.
Yeah. Yeah, because we were talking in the car, it's like, I want to have expectations for myself. I want to make sure that if I looked at today as just, I'm not going to do as good, because I don't feel as good as I did last time, then I'd go in there and I just don't really feel that good, and I probably won't do that well. but that's setting it too low, you know what I mean? And just being like, well, Kyle's just going to run a 5:30, I'll just do a 5:32, you know what I mean? Whatever, something like that. And with that attitude of just not seeing what I'm capable of. Or going in kind of what I did, which was like, I'm going to fucking obviously do better than 4:59. And then it's just like, I'm going to get let down, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because I want to do good, but, you know, what attitude am I supposed to have walking into that? I don't know. But I don't know. Man, I tortured myself during that mile, dude. Like I wanted to give up so many times and everything. I was like I was just like trying to get out of it. I'm so like, it just feels like that's such a weak part of my mind, which is just like trying to pretty much what I've done in everything.
So do you think people running a mile as fast as they can are happy during the mile? You think everybody's not doing the same thing?
Yeah, I know. It just feels like
I'm running
there's just resistance like every inch of it.
Of course.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to do that. Your body's pissed at you.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess it's just this idea that we're just constantly, like I've kind of programmed it now that like I'm not going downhill anymore, like I'm taking care of my life and it should be like this. And with that expectation comes like, well, why would I be slower than the last time I did it? You know what I mean? But it's just a stupid, like, yeah, there could be different variables. Like there was people watching today, there was a heat, there was a fucking hot as hell. You know, like there was just a lot of different things going on. We played softball last night, worked different muscles that I haven't worked in so long.
Deadlifted yesterday.
Yeah, deadlifted yesterday, yeah. So like all those different things, and it's like, I don't remember the circumstances of the first mile, so I can't really talk about it, but, you know.
It's also, too, we have like, I heard somebody say that all the things in your life are like plates spinning, you know, so you've got all these plates spinning. You've got your fitness plate, you've got your Griffith glass plate, your relationships plate, your friends plate, and it's hard to keep them all spinning at the same time. You need to like, you know, go over to this one, go over to that one.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you're too sensitive to all of them, like if you slip back a little bit in the mile, but you're gaining in Griffith glass and relationships and other stuff, then you should feel progress. But
I don't.
We're both talking about stagnation and regression.
Yeah, because if I eat bad, that'll affect my relationships, that'll affect my physical, that'll affect, you know, if I don't run, you know, but I'm focusing more on Griffith glass, you know, I think I'm still gonna feel pretty bad for not running, you know, not taking care of the thing that I'm supposed to be doing. Like if I didn't meditate, you know, I know my mind's not as clear as I don't know.
Man, you know what's fucked up too is I've been past this a couple times this year. I've been on the other side of this where I've done so well that I lose that. So what I'm talking about is Julian, Real Social Dynamics, talks about 3 paradigms: having, doing, and being. So if you're in the lowest one, having, you think having money would make me happy, having a nice house would make me happy. And then what I think we're in right now is doing. It's like if I do the right things, I can be happy. If I exercise and meditate, I can be happy. But then the third one, what you really want to reach is just being, when you know you're okay. And I've reached that a couple times this year where I really did skip meditation or working out, and I was like, no, I'm fine. But I don't know how I lost it. I don't know how to get back there. I think...
You don't even remember, you don't even know when you're losing it. Like, it's just gone, and I think it's because you do slip up those little tiny...
I think it's having the belief. It's proving to yourself for an extended period of time that you can do it, and that you don't need to... I think you're your own like overseer right now. You're the one, you called it whipping earlier in the mile. You're yelling at yourself like keep doing it. I think a couple times this year, I think what happened was I just did so well for a while that I believed myself. I'm like, no, I don't need to yell at myself to do jiu-jitsu. I can do it. And then you kind of lose all that. I mean, it really, it's kind of weird to say, but I think I got lazy this month.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I did. For sure. And I think the way out of it is just doing more stuff.
Yeah.
Because you can't skip, right? If you're in having, you can't just be like, oh, I'm good enough, because no, you're not.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it's acceptance too. It's like, okay, I am in that paradigm of doing, I need to get past it, but it's...
Yeah, I didn't hit the boardwalk enough this month. No.
You weren't a hero enough.
No.
No, we haven't really been going out in general. And that's important too, because it ties into what I was talking about earlier with the social anxiety. It's like the more experience you have and the more it's in your mind, like, no, people like me, people accept me. That's a huge part of it, man.
Yeah.
We can go a few days just seeing each other, and that's really unhealthy.
Yeah. You just talked about going home for like 9 days, and I'm like, fuck. I gotta take control of myself for 9 days and hold myself accountable, for nine more days, which is,
Last time I left and you were here, you had a rough time.
I think I probably went on some sort of binge. That would seem like me.
That was a younger Steve, but I remember you were real upset. Actually, we both kind of were. I think we were talking on Facebook chat,
yeah,
and we were both trying to figure things out. But you were having a real tough time because you're more of you need people.
Yep.
Around, and if nobody's around, you're gonna have to find somebody, or you're gonna get unhappy.
Probably, but what is that? Self-fulfilling prophecy of just like, oh, you're going away, and there's not somebody to watch Stranger Things with. Now I have to be sad. Nah.
Depends. I mean, it could be self-fulfilling prophecy. It could also be knowing yourself.
Man, yeah.
Because I actually do the opposite a little bit too. But it's these all conflict too.
I know. When you're trying to analyze yourself, right. I don't know what's real, what's not real.
I think you know it in your bones though. It's like on a night when we could go out, what I'll do is I'll be like, well, I don't need people. I want to be by myself. But I think I'm going against an inner thing there. It's like, come on, you can go out right now. There's no reason you can't go out. And I think it's listening to that. And also, it's like whenever we've done those things, you never regret it. If you go
I always
out,
feel so good.
Yeah, you never regret it.
Yeah. We're learning. Never said I was good at this stuff. I don't know. There hasn't been too many lows this month. I guess we've kind of controlled. Like we've been marking it in red and green, and like there's only a few red spots. Like it's not terrible. I feel like, but it also there's not a lot of skyrockets either, because I don't know. You're saying that's laziness for you? That you're not yeah. I don't know if I can get on board with laziness. There's more time in the day. I know that there's time in the day that could be spent doing other stuff. Is that lazy? Does it have to be lazy? Or just not maybe like misguided, like I just don't know what to put my time towards, or I'm just using that as an excuse? I don't even know.
Yeah, I think there was periods in this month where I was like, I should be doing stand-up comedy, or I should be out talking to people.
Yeah. Do you look at yourself differently now, like in the mirror? Like after having a week of feeling a little bit different?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Like what? Like what's the thought loop that runs through your head?
It's just having a more positive self-image of myself when I'm doing the things I need to be doing, and a worse.
Even sitting here looking right now, like do you feel?
I can't really see myself there.
Yeah, but do you feel like you're like slouching, or like I feel like I have a worse kind of presence today than I do normally.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to podcast a lot when I'm feeling bad.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
Nobody wants to listen to somebody with low energy.
Yeah, that's weak. Yeah, but then I also don't want to fake it either, because this is supposed to be an accountability of how I actually feel. So it's like it's a true representation of how I feel.
Yeah, but nobody's gonna listen to it if you're just being a piece of shit. That's why.
Yeah.
You could just diary that way, but I mean, especially if it's like if you're gonna have a guest on. If I'm gonna have a guest on, for example, and I can feel myself.
That's
like
tough,
you said,
yeah.
it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like you said, it's like, oh, I feel bad right now, so then you're gonna continue feeling bad. But at the same time, I also feel like I know myself, and it's like, I'm just I'm not talkative right now. It's like, okay, it's actually like this. I'm not interested in what this guy is saying right now. That's a problem.
Yeah. You gotta be like, well, why am I not interested? It's probably because you're focusing on yourself.
Because you've got your own problems. Yeah. It's like, oh, what's going on with this girl, or oh, what's going on with unemployment? What's going on? Those things have to be handled to a degree where you can stop thinking about them at least. And that's the same thing with meditation too. I told you meditation's been hard for me lately. I think it's those types of things. It's the sustainability thing. It's like, I know I have to pick it up, and I haven't been, so I'm sitting there and I'm trying to clear my mind and just relax. but instead I'm just going through the same problems.
Yeah.
And it's like those problems don't go away either.
No, and even when they're like, even when you have an idea of taking care of it, or like even when you have like a plan to take care of it, you're still running through all the what ifs and everything. Like even when you've done something to take care of it. I don't know.
Well, it's when maybe I'm misunderstanding you. But it's when you do the action. That's when I do feel.
Okay, yeah, but I'm saying like before. So like if I'm taking action to get my healthcare worked out or whatever, like one small step isn't going to get healthcare settled for me. But thinking about it or making the actual call or like initiating something, you know, I still think about it while I'm in meditation. Like that was going on all last week, and I thought about it so much. It's like, fuck, I have to take care of this, you know. And even while it's still going on, I'm still running through that same thought of I have to take care of this. Like, yeah, I know I have to take care of it. I've said that before. Like I know that I have to take care of it, but it still just comes into my head.
That's stagnation right there. That's
and
exactly
how much time am I wasting thinking that same fucking thought? And the call itself only took like 10 minutes.
Yeah. I read something, it was that website I was talking about, Nehrer.net, Nehrer.net. It's this guy talking about these kind of topics like the mind, how powerful the mind is, how you fix your mind. And he said this really interesting thing. He said fear is actually a creative thing. If you think about that for a second, because fear is taking something you think you're afraid of and projecting. It's like making stories. You're basically writing stories. You just said you're doing all these what ifs. You're projecting all these scenarios. But if anyone who's ever confronted fear knows that whatever you're picturing isn't what actually happens, almost no matter what it is. You know, if I'm afraid of stand-up comedy, I'm afraid of going up and getting laughed at. Even if it goes badly, that's not what's going to happen. I'm creating a story for myself. I'm actually just telling myself a nice little story when I'm indulging in a fear thought loop. So it's almost like the more creative you are, the more fear you can have.
Yeah, the more opportunities you have to create fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the more stories you can create. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, we're all like I feel like I start my own drama in my head. You know what I mean? So like I'm the shit starter in my head. So yeah, if I can get worried about a mile, I wouldn't have even gotten worried about it if I didn't do it. You know what I mean? Like, or you said if we didn't even run this morning, you wouldn't have even been mad at yourself at all. You'd have just gone for a regular, normal run, and then that'd have been good. You know? But I created that drama that I had this morning. That's interesting.
It's almost like it was a negative thing, doing a mile. Because I want to say it's a positive thing, because it gives you a benchmark. But if you didn't do it, you wouldn't know about it.
And you wouldn't have a trackable way to see if you're getting better.
So are you happy you did it or no?
Yeah, now I am.
You are?
Yeah. I'm happy that I have another notch on the belt of timed miles. Yeah, sure. It doesn't really mean anything at all anyways.
Do you actually believe that though?
It's just another memory that my mind can reference to say that I am kind of fast. I don't know, you know? It's just a way that I can reference to be like, yeah, here's where I think I'm at athletically.
But your whole problem mentally is that it's not just another thing that you can reference. It's one that you can reference to say, oh, I'm slower now. So if you didn't do it, you might still have this illusion in your head about being faster. It's the same as guys who might want to talk to girls but don't. They have this idea in their head. They're like, oh, girls like me, but they never actually test it. So they get to have this little fantasy. So it's almost like you had a fantasy in your head that you had to confront. It's like, oh, I didn't run faster. I ran a 5:12. You have more reality now, but you have less fantasy.
Well, the reality is that I'm getting stronger and just faster every day. So.
Nope.
Yeah.
4:59 to 5:12. You got slower.
Yeah, but I'm taking care. I'm actively strengthening myself to be better at that activity. So, although today represents a decline in overall time, it doesn't represent a decline in overall fitness and where I seek to be in the future.
So are you saying your attitude has changed since this morning then?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Looking at it as more of a like a benchmark.
A learning experience.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens too in these other endeavors. Like our good friend Doug, he performed at this blues jam thing, and he perceived it as going poorly. It didn't go poorly, but he perceived it as going poorly, and it devastated him for a little while. But then after the fact, he's still glad that it happened. So I think that's what we've talked about that a lot in the past too. It's like personal trauma is actually good for you. Confront it and get the lesson as fast as you can, because then you can grow.
Yeah.
So you do end up growing from doing a mile, even though it wasn't as fast as you wanted to.
Yeah, and it just makes the drive to want to do a faster one that much stronger. It's like, I know what I'm fucking capable of. Are you kidding me? I did this last time. I know that I can do, it's only 10 seconds, 11 seconds, 12 seconds. Who the fuck cares? It's such a small amount of time, and then like there's that competitive side of me that's like, here's why we're doing it. Here's the Steve that's talking.
Yeah.
Here's why Griff Glass exists. Here's why I lost weight. There's just competitiveness to just want to do something better.
Yeah.
So I guess that's good. Yeah. If it keeps that drive going.
I'm gonna link that fear thing to describe a little bit more specifically what I'm talking about with myself. So my goal is to make money doing something, or to just somehow progress too, because I feel very stagnant. Even the podcast, I've had 25 subscribers for months, and it's like I have these ideas of how I should improve, but then the fear surrounds them. So one is like reaching out to more people and asking them to be on, and then this fear loop goes, oh, what if they reject me? What if they think I suck? What if they don't, what if I get embarrassed? So it's procrastinating with those things. And it'd be really simple to just write a simple letter and send it out. But I have these procrastination, these resistance things in place. And it's like, okay, well, after I do a few more podcasts, then I'll feel more
You'll feel ready. Yeah,
but really it's the same as the mile. I just need to do it and deal with it after.
Whatever comes from it, there's more people in the world to ask next week,
right?
And next week, and
Yeah, and it actually reminds me of the way I dealt with relationship issues right after shrooms. I had this clarity I had this mental clarity right after doing shrooms the last time, and it was like, okay, well, this is what I'm afraid of, but it has to get done, so I'm going to do it right now. And that's really everything too. It's like, okay, well, I think to be better at podcasting, I have to do stand-up comedy, I have to talk to these guests, and I have to practice these skills, but I'm procrastinating right now.
Yeah.
And I think actually now that I'm kind of putting it all together, a lot of it's knowing that I'm going home. It's like, oh, another phase.
I was gonna ask that, yeah.
Another phase starts after I go home. I come back and then I get back to the grind.
That's what I used to do with like, we can start a diet on Monday,
right?
Like what everybody does,
Yep.
So yeah, I can totally see that. And it's just it's, I guess, because the next 9 or 10 days are so unpredictable for you, like with the fact that you're losing your routine here, even though you can maintain some routines there, but the overall day is just different. And I think that probably whenever that happens for me, I never want to be able to like plan things. Like I want to be able to take care of the things that I can take care of, but you can't plan everything. So and it is a vacation, so
exactly.
Yeah. That's weird.
Yeah, it's really weird. When you've got goals that you're working towards every day, I've heard a lot of people say this, people that are into self-improvement and stuff. Taking a vacation is uncomfortable for people like me, and people like you too, right?
I don't know, I feel like that, even Vegas and stuff, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it's like, well, I always go back to the idea, is like, did I deserve it? Like, have I worked hard enough to deserve this time off? And I think I'll probably work about the same amount as I have been, in which I mean writing a few pages. I'll probably podcast with my sister, but I can't really work less than I have been. So
you should get Big Mike on the podcast.
I mean, that's a good thing. I could have Big Mike on.
Yeah.
So going the going on a vacation thing. Going on a vacation, the idea is like resting. It's like, well, I don't really need more rest. But yeah, I mean, it's not like you do the same things anywhere. I don't have to fall off anything. It's just that it's another fear thing. It's another fear. If I leave my routine here, my bubble here, will I be able to maintain
and
my
the
speed?
knowledge that there will be external factors. That there will be family. You'll know that there will be booze and bad food. So those are just three things that like you kind of already predict at least some sort of
consequence.
Yeah. So you're predicting that in your own head. You're saying, "Fuck, I'm gonna feel bad because I'm gonna drink."
Yeah. So again, it's what have you learned from your own experiences? What do you know about yourself? And how you make it worth it too. It's like, a younger Kyle, less aware of himself, might have gone to New Hampshire and just taken 20 shots. Had a lot of fun, but woke up in the morning and felt terrible. An older Kyle knows I can have fun with 4 or 5 shots, or 7 or 8. But the real important part is bonding with my family. And I think I'm going to make that a bigger focus. It's like actually being present with them. And it's the first time I've been to New Hampshire without a guest, too, in a long time.
Yep.
So I see myself sitting with Big Mike,
cool,
and his new wife, Chris,
nice.
More. I see almost like a kind of a Zen time in New Hampshire for myself.
Nice. It's cool.
Yeah, I mean it's a beautiful place. There's a lake.
I know. I'm super jealous.
I hope I'll be sitting around outside a lot. I don't want to be using Big Mike's cable TV, which is wonderful. But I hope I'm outside a lot.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm engaged in conversations a lot.
Nice.
Because that could actually be like Doug went home recently too, and he said it was healing.
Yeah, he had that huge expectation of that it was going to suck. So that's on the completely other side of like he thought it was going to be very hard.
He's very fearful.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very fearful of what happened.
He was super worried about his living arrangements and such, and all of that was taken care of. And he said he actually had an amazing time and like really bonded with some people that he didn't expect to, and like damn, like he just dropped all that.
Actually, I should. It's two sides of that coin. Like not a fear of vacation. It's actually appreciating what I have here too.
Yeah,
it's like I don't want to leave. I have people here, like obviously you, other friends that I really like seeing, on a weekly basis. And the idea of going a week without going to jiu-jitsu or rolling with Jason, I want to be here. And that's, I guess you can always look at things in one or two ways, right?
Grass is always greener too.
Yeah. So
you're seeing that as being taken away from you right now,
and that's why I'm viewing it better. And when you have it every day, then it's like jiu-jitsu. Yeah.
Yep. We talked about it with glass blowing. My glasses are broken. I sent them in for repairs, and I've been craving to blow glass, and it's like, I can't do it. So it's like I want it more, obviously. But then when the glasses come in, I'll probably take 2 or 3 days to go blow glass. You know what I mean? Like I probably won't even do it right away. It's just what happens all the time. I just know I just know how I react. Yeah.
Damn. And that's what's been getting me with relationships too. I'm always trying to figure out this whole love thing. I'm always trying to figure it out, and it's like I was having this conversation last night. The more available your partner is to you, the less interesting they become because they're available. If somebody's less available, then they're more interesting. And people will say, me included, it's like, well, I don't want to play games. Those are games. It's true, those are games, but it's also how it works. Even if you're in an amazing marriage, let's say you're the typical, not typical, but pure American marriage. A guy and a girl get married, a guy goes off to Iraq. They want each other so much more.
Yeah, than if they were just at home together.
Exactly. Yeah. You get used to people. They become constants in your life, and you take them for granted. Everything in your life, you're going to take.
I think that's how me and Sanaki survived for so long. Just because we had these long breaks of me going away to college or being in different grades.
And you always had that pull to get back to each other.
Exactly, yeah.
And then when you actually do get back to each other, there's that moment of relief. And
then the expectation that whatever you're going through right now will change because you guys are finally together, But happiness has to be there regardless, though. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have answers. I'm divorced. Don't take advice from me.
Yeah, I was kind of working with this idea last night too. It's like everything is always changing. Always. You even talk about how glass changes. Glass is actually not a full solid. Is that what you said?
I think somebody told me that one time that it's constantly moving, and over like hundreds of years, it'll like slouch to like.
All right. Well, glass is definitely a solid. I apologize. Glass is definitely a solid.
No, I think Bloomberg is
but
looking at
everything is. Everything. This table, if you leave it alone for thousands of years, will disintegrate.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same way. Maybe glass is a little bit different.
I don't know.
The idea, though, is that... Okay, there's a couple ideas. This might get confusing. First, we view loss as more important and urgent than the potential gain. So I'm not in a committed relationship right now, but the idea of losing a girl that I might be with, even if I know it's not a long-term thing, is scarier than the excitement of gaining a new one. And that's the same thing for everything in life. Like,
yep.
Yeah.
$20 that you just cut up in the sink or something like that, or you lost blatantly, versus $20 just being taken out of your bank account because of an overdrawn fee nobody gives a fuck about. But like $20 that you like, it blew out the window and now you can't have it again. You're like, fuck, I just lost $20. It's the same fucking thing. Yeah.
And I forget who we were talking about, but they related it back to the idea of like, we evolved in tribes. And especially with people, if you feel like you're losing a relationship or something, you feel like it's a tribe problem. It's bigger than that. It's not just one-on-one. It's, you know, and it makes sense in every aspect, I guess. When things were more difficult, losing maybe an animal that you just killed is very, very scary. But nowadays, it's like, what couldn't you recover from if you lost?
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyway, so then the idea is the world is always changing, and we're always trying to preserve what we have, but then also grow. And that's impossible.
Yeah, what am I even fearing? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're fearing of losing what you have currently, the money you have currently, the friends you have currently, the relationships you have currently. Whatever you have, you're afraid
of. Am I afraid
losing.
of that though, because then I'll just be by myself with like and I know how bad I am by myself? Is that like the overall fear? Is that what it all stems down to?
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Because there's really nothing, you said it, there's nothing that can really go that bad. There's really nothing that can go that bad. It would be an external source. It would be something that I can't control. You know, like losing an arm and then having to realize now that you have to live life this way. And it wouldn't be that bad because now you just have an appreciation for your right arm then. You know what I mean? Like, and whatever it is.
That's the self-belief thing. So I'm coming to this new idea right now that I'll probably use for a little while. It's like, the world is always changing, the universe is always changing, your circumstances are always changing. All you can do is make yourself able, as capable as you can of dealing with change. So I know that if I make myself mentally and physically in shape for the things that I'm going to encounter,
for the hardships that you're going through,
then I can feel capable. And the reason I failed this past month is because I don't think I made myself capable enough socially, financially, or in a business sense. So going forward, if like things like stand-up comedy and going out and talking to people make me feel capable in a larger sense. It makes me think, yeah, I could do this. I could make a living out of being a personality or something. If I'm just working out and meditating, that's a different kind of capable, which is still important. But I'm not feeling capable. So the change that's coming in a very real way. So in like a woo-woo way, everything's always changing, right? But in a very real way, unemployment's going to run out, and then that's a change that I have to be ready for.
Yeah.
So are you capable of dealing with what you... And it's also the same, too, is like everything's always changing. I don't think anything ever stays the same. It's scary, but I think you always are either progressing or regressing in your mind even.
But like you said at the beginning of this podcast, deadlines, are coming, and like you kind of just know that you're just going to take care of whatever you need to do for the money situation. Like you haven't thought of it right this second, but like it'll get worked out, like...
Yeah, that's the other thing too. It gets really complicated, and I guess it's just how deep you think about this stuff, and I wish I didn't think so deep about it. But I think I've got like a long-term self-belief and a short-term self-belief. So the long-term self-belief believes you. It's like, yeah, I'll take care of it. But the short-term really doesn't. I'm like,
he's scared.
Shit, I don't know what I'm going to do.
My short-term self is super scared.
It's like, I always figure things out. It's like, I always use this example too. It's like, remember in high school or college, you had a test coming up. It's the end of the world. What if I fail this test? Doesn't matter. You'll get through it.
Even if you have to take an extra, there's nothing.
So let's say my unemployment runs out and I don't get a job, and I my car breaks, the apartment just... Even if I lose all my money, I'm still going to be fine.
Yeah.
But short-term Kyle is so afraid of losing those things, and that's what it is. It's a fear of loss, and I'm not. It's also that I'm not excited about gaining anything.
Yeah, it's that gambling feeling of like, who cares if you throw a $20 bill down on red or black? It's not exciting enough to even the win is less than the loss is gonna hurt. None of it even fucking matters. It just, there's no excitement from it anymore. You know what I mean? Like we talked about, that's why I don't even play roulette or anything like that anymore, just because there's no, that thrill isn't there anymore to do that.
The stakes aren't high enough to produce the adrenaline rush you're looking for.
It would have to be more than that. It would have to be something significant, and I don't know.
It also sounds like complacency to me.
Yeah.
Complacency, when you get comfortable the way things are. And it's, there's so many different things in factor here. We're talking about appreciating on one hand how good things have gotten. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, they have, but I think for me especially, it's like, okay, well, things are good now, and now I'm comfortable, and then it's like as soon as you let yourself get comfortable for a fucking day, you backslide immediately.
Yeah. I think it's just a will. It's just a will to do better, just to be better, just an expectation for yourself that is higher than what you're producing. And I don't know if it's good or bad to have. I can't figure it out.
Do you think there's going to be people listening to this and just being like, what the fuck are they talking about?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean.
Hey, if you're still here, let me know what's going on. I mean, come on, you listen to this much. Tell me what's going on in your life. And if you have solutions for me and Steve, it's like we have this overall problem. This problem of I'm not where I want to be. And then we have so many different angles to come at it from, positive and negative.
And then we get here.
And we're exploring all of them. And it's like there's like that cliche, it's like happiness is a choice, right? It's true. Like, sometimes I can trigger the right thought in my head and I'll be like, oh yeah, it's okay.
Everything's great, yeah.
But it's so unreliable and unpredictable.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird idea that I don't know. I can't describe it.
Sometimes too, tell me if you feel this. I feel like it's a deadline thing, right? I think going back to the Tony Robbins thing, I have this idea of what I can accomplish in a week or a month. And if I'm ahead of schedule, I feel good. But if I'm behind schedule, so like ahead of schedule would be like, okay, I've already done comedy a few times, I've written a bunch, and that's almost when complacency kind of sets in.
Because you can relax.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't just be taking any time off or relaxing with our diet or our minds or we shouldn't take days off from meditation, days off from diet, days off from work.
I remember, I'm going to go listen to the other podcast when I was feeling better because I think I had all the answers then. But I remember saying that when you do believe in yourself, you can have a meal because you know it's okay.
Yeah.
Because you feel it.
Yeah, you just said that. I just heard that on the podcast.
It's true.
Yeah. I don't believe that right now, though.
Okay, I guess there's another idea I was talking about too before that was trust your brain when you're feeling good and don't trust your brain when you're feeling bad. I think that's what a lot of it is too. It's like enduring the bad moods. We talk about them, they're like storms. And it's like when you're going through a storm, you just do the things you know you're supposed to do and shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Because why would you have a cheat meal right now? Would you even enjoy it?
No, not with the current, I wouldn't be able to look at that chart, you know what I mean? I take pride in looking at it right now and I would be like, you fucking idiot.
You've got a chart of your progress, you're saying. You've got, every day marked off.
I don't want to write
I
don't want to write a black X, or a red X or whatever on the day where I cheated. It just wouldn't feel good.
So is it what I'm talking about then? Is it when you feel like you're ahead of schedule? Like, let's say if you went out the next couple nights and you sold and you made $1,000 the next couple nights, and when you're out, a girl's like, oh my God, you're the hottest guy I ever saw. Me and my friends want to date you over the next month. I think you would come home with a feeling of happiness.
Maybe that I don't know.
And I think you would be ahead of schedule. But
that hasn't happened yet.
But obviously it's better than feeling bad, but obviously that's messed up too, right? Because then you're still relying on the external factors.
You're putting an expectation on it has to be this good for me, but to be able to have that sort of day.
Well, it's like a feeling of progress, a feeling of
Yeah.
a win somehow.
Yeah, I haven't figured out the line yet where it needs to be drawn, but the food thing is still a pretty big thing. Pretty much on my mind every day, all day, every day.
Is it really?
Yeah.
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 What's the closest you've come to cheating on your diet in the last couple weeks?
Oh man. Probably the Cliff day when we were.
You didn't seem like you came that close that day.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna fight anybody if they were down to go out to eat that day. I would have definitely.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
But everybody just went home, and everybody just came here, and I was like, all right, I guess I'll just make a salad. But that was probably the closest.
Well, I came even closer than you.
But
did.
that's because it was a good day, and I don't know, like.
I had a schedule.
Yeah.
I think that's the same kind of feeling.
Maybe, yeah.
It just feels so false to have to rely on progress for happiness.
It feels petty. It feels really petty.
But no, it's not though, because okay, what type of guy are you? You're the type of guy that's making progress, right? If you are not making progress, then you're going against the type of guy you are. I think we're pretending to be shittier dudes when we're being lazy. I think that's what we feel. So it's like we like to think of like these things as struggles, and that's why it's messed up too. Because I'm privileged to be able to work out, to go to jiu-jitsu, to write, and everything. They shouldn't be chores. They should be things that I feel privileged about, but I don't. They do feel like chores.
Yeah, it's because there's so much of them now. There's so many of them that I have to do in each day.
But not really. Like if you actually made it. Yeah, it's just like a list of things, but if you condensed it into actually time, it's like a couple hours.
Exactly, yeah. But it's this thought loop that it's a big, massive thing to diet and to go to the gym and to run and to do all these things, and it's really not that big of a thing. Like you said, it's the same thing as the repeating the same thought hundreds and hundreds of times for hours and hours, and then doing the task and it only taking 10 minutes, and just being like, well, why the fuck did I just waste all my time doing that? It's the same exact thing. Yeah. Maybe I'll realize it one day. It's just so hard. I can't think straight right now. Yeah, I don't know.
I think so much of it's fear. If I could just use one example, like what I think I should be doing is going to stand-up comedy. Going to stand-up comedy will make me more confident in front of crowds, make me a better speaker, make me funnier. But I'm very afraid of it. And like, if let's say I make it a goal of mine, I have to do it 3 times a week. That means I'm putting myself in a situation where dozens of times that week I'm going to be uncomfortable. The night before I'm going to be thinking about it. The day of I'm going to be thinking about it. But it's like, why wouldn't I enjoy that? Why wouldn't I be excited about it? It all comes down to fear.
Well, tasks just sometimes are stressful to just have something planned. You know what I mean?
Always.
So if you planned that you have to do that 3 days a week, then it's like
meditation club. I've been doing it for over a month now. It's been great. People are actually coming and meditating with us, and it's a really small commitment, less than an hour, once a week. And I got to do it today, and I already feel a little bit of stress on
there's
myself.
resistance from you right now. Yeah. And it's like that's something that you created, that you wanted to create, that you went out of your way to create.
But it's something that I have to do.
Yeah. Running club, same thing.
There's no way around that, is there?
I don't know. I feel like I'm just that type of person that just doesn't like to do things, but it's such a stupid thing to say because I do so many things. So it's like, what am I? I don't know. Am I just a big faker?
Feels like that sometimes, right?
Yeah, with everything. I don't feel like a glass blower. I don't feel like a runner. I don't feel like I always feel like there's a better runner. I always feel like there's obviously better glass blowers, better everybody, better dudes, better dicks, better better everything. We're just mediocre dudes. I've been saying it since day one.
Yeah, we have been called mediocre. That's true.
Seriously, I mean, there's nothing. I don't know. That chick that I was talking to, she's like, I'm special. I'm like, no, you're not. What's so special about you? She's like, oh, I have these words that people are gonna love, and everything. No, they're not your words. They're not original. They're somebody else's words that you just all combined into your own way of presentation. And I don't know. Yeah, she's not fucking special. I don't know if anybody is.
But you felt the same way she felt when she said that.
Yeah, and I felt special too about different things too, where I'm like, well, I'm gonna be the best glassblower and seller. I'm gonna be like, and then like getting so inspired by that feeling and stuff, and then it's just like, now I don't feel like that. Now I just feel like a shitty glassblower. You know what I mean? Just like the intensity level for everything in my life, the intensity level on how I look at myself as a physical person is down here. You know, as a glassblower, as in my work profession, in my social profession, it's all just like, I don't know. Maybe just because none of them I'm really focusing on, so none of them are really none of them are really high because they're all just being maintained at these lower levels. Yeah, I don't know. And then it's like, do I have enough energy to take care of all of them, or raise one at each time? It's like, yeah, I think so. We have a lot of hours in the fucking day, but why can I not get up on time? Why does everything just seem like a chore? And then it's like, is that my fault? Is that depression? Is that now I can look at that board and say, well, it's not bad food, so I can take that out of the table. I know that that's not an element that's doing it. I can take being physical and getting exercise, take that right off the table because I can see that I'm doing those two every single day. I can try to control as many variables as possible, but I still am sad. I'm still having low days. I can't control everything. So it's like, there's also a part of me that's like, what can be controlled and what cannot be controlled? So like on the days when I'm feeling low, do I just need to give in and be like, this is the low that is today. It'll go when it needs to go. It's just a really hard thing to recognize when you're sitting in it. Because there's days where there's not a lot of lows or highs in that month. There's just a lot of dullness of these this dull attitude about life. Just this really, really mundane attitude of just having to go along with it, I guess. I don't know.
It's also...
Sorry for that rant.
No, it was good. It's like, what are you giving your brain to work with? Because stagnation is when you're doing the same things over and over. Even if they're good things, you're still not giving your brain anything to work with and think about. Mm-hmm. Like, if you do one novel thing, experience something new, usually after that, you've got this excitement level. Your brain's making new connections and going over that. But if you're just doing the same thing every day, then the opposite is happening, and you're ruminating about things that you could have done or should do. And I think it's two things. You're asking during those moods, do I just accept it? And yeah, I think so. But I think it's also trying, if you can, to give yourself a new experience or something at least to change the conversation in your brain.
Yeah.
Because you're either having the same conversation over and over, which I suffered a lot with this month, or you're making a new conversation. And I think that's what was really keeping me going the first 2 months of this year. I was always making a new conversation. There was always something new happening.
Yeah, but now you've been doing all these new things and they're not new anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I got so fucking excited about painting the other day. And then...
Yeah, you did.
I haven't even finished that painting at all. What the fuck? It was just a quick burst of dopamine that I got from doing half of a painting that I got excited about, and then I was just like, wow, the excitement level's not going to be there as much the second time around.
You remember what I mentioned too when we talked about that? It was that book, The Dip. Whenever you start something new, whenever any of us start something new, there's this phase that we call beginner's luck or something, but really it's starting something new and getting the new, you called it dopamine or whatever. You're just giving your brain something new to do, and you're like, oh, I can do this too. I can rock climb if you're going rock climbing for the first time, or I can paint. And then there's this period of excitement and potential and possibility. What if I do this every day? But everything will get boring. Mm-hmm. Everything will lose its luster, and it becomes a chore.
Perception, though, because something that I can call a chore can also be, something that some days I do enjoy with the right attitude. Running is something that I do enjoy sometimes with the right attitude, but most days it's a fucking chore.
And that's what Pressfield talks about in The War of Art in Turning Pro. He talks about are you an amateur or are you professional? Because I think that's the difference. An amateur is somebody who does it when they feel like it, and a professional is someone who does it regardless.
Yeah.
So maybe it is accepting that yes, this is going to be very difficult. Nothing in life is easy, too.
I know.
We want it to be so easy.
I know.
I really do I just want to wake up at 12 and lay in bed and have everything given to me.
Every time I swipe right, I'm like, she's not on my dick. Weak. You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck?
I do.
It's weak.
I do know what you mean.
It's weak. But even with that, it's like an expectation that you're good enough. That's so weird what we do in our fucking heads.
Yeah, so I guess for me personally, it's, am I doing the things that are going to take me in the right direction? And if I can say yes to that, if those things are giving me a struggle,
but even that's
accept the
so
struggle.
fucking vague. Even what you just said is so vague. Like, to say that you were going in the right direction this month, but you didn't go fast enough in the right direction this month.
No, I think because I'm not going fast enough, it's actually losing ground.
Yeah. I don't know. I think you just put a bigger fire underneath your ass to get something done now. So I don't see it as actually declining.
So I could do the same thing for another 2 months and get a real big fire under my ass if I wanted to.
All depends on what kind of attitude you want to have.
Yeah.
All depends on what kind of stress levels you want to create for yourself. How much drama, how much shit starting do you want to make for your own head?
I think I got enough right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it's that. It's like, yeah, it's going to be a struggle. The things that I'm afraid of are going to give me mental stress. But what do I want to do? Do I want to go for it, or do I want to go back to MetLife?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go for it.
I'd like to go for it too.
Yeah.
Because that's a different kind of struggle. Yeah, if you want a safe life, a comfortable life, a life where you don't have to fear things, you can have that, but that's a whole different type of struggle.
I think I'm willing to gamble everything I have currently today in order to keep this life going. Yeah. Like, all the things that I've built up today, to this day, I think I would invest all of it into keeping this idea of more, like being better, becoming more alive for a little bit longer. I don't know how long it'll keep it alive for, but you know what I mean?
That means you're on the right path. That means you're doing the right thing.
I hope.
I was thinking about us living together.
What's up, dog? What you thinking about?
Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Just let me finish the fucking sentence. It's the same, it's like the dip. It's like, I remember in Denver, we sucked worse than we did now.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. You get excited about being in a new place, you do all these things, and then you take it for granted and you do less. And I think even though we've reached a higher level now, that same type of thing could happen.
Yeah.
Where we're at that level right now. This is a better level than Denver. In Denver, it was way more trips to Jenny's and eating coffee cakes and Nutrageouses. Was that your thing?
Oh,
no, Fast Breaks.
No, Fast Breaks, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
But it's still a different
Beef
complacency. It's comfort. It's, even if you find yourself doing the right things, it's, I'm comfortable. I can do these right things.
Yeah.
It really is always trying to move forward. Sounds exhausting, but...
I know. Yeah. So, do you think, better or worse living with somebody?
Better.
I can't do it. I didn't do this. I didn't do this well in Rhode Island by myself. That's why I fear the next 9 days,
That's probably another part of mine too, that I have to release you from my mentorship. You know everything I know now. I had to show you how to cook. I had to show you how to lift.
Yeah.
I had to show you how to talk.
9 days, I gotta take care of myself. What the fuck do I do?
Well, no, I mean on a bigger scale. It's like I think I was getting a lot from teaching you and instilling things on you, and it's that's kind of over now.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that was just kind of us. We had a year where we weren't living together, and that whole dynamic of getting here in January and building this idea of self-improvement and building it all together, because every single day we're together. So yeah, once that's been built, like the foundation's here now. You know what I mean? Like we're doing these things every single day. So yeah, when I joke about needing you, but like when in reality, like it's most of these things are just habits. I'm not gonna go order a pizza tomorrow morning. Like that doesn't make any sense. It goes against.
I'm also talking about the fear-inducing things though, because when you first got here, we were trying to go out and socialize. We were doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
And I was trying to show you these things, whereas I think part of that's lost. It's like I don't, and that's just like I gotta do it for myself. I think it's another thing of like living for yourself or being like, hey, it's an ego thing. It's like, oh, I can show you this skill that I have to go do this, And now after you've seen that, it's like, okay, well, are you still doing it for Steve or are you going to do it for yourself?
Yeah.
And I guess that's probably what it is a lot for me too now. It's like, gotta go do it for myself.
Yeah.
And we do that too. I mean, it's a very good thing that we do. We push each other, but we also...
we cause each other's caves too.
Yeah, it's like, okay, if Steve did this much, then if I do that much, I can say that I'm at least keeping up with Steve. And that sets like this artificial limit. Yeah,
but I know the opposite is that I don't set any expectation for. So yeah, there's a fine line where can it be drawn, but I do need to at least. I know that I work well with a competitive aspect to it.
Yeah, I think what we need is a young buck.
Yeah. Hey, any of you young fucks, or what'd you say,
buck?
Hey, any of you guys, yeah.
We want you. We're looking for a roommate to pay for our entire rent. But we'll teach you how to do stuff.
/ intern.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can do our work for us and pay us. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
it's probably the worst time to make that advertisement. Talking about how we don't know how we're like, I don't know what to do with life.
Hey, but
I'll teach you.
But it's funny because like here we are in not in a low, but just in a mediocre feeling, time. And I mean, I really do think that like all of the changes that I've instilled in my life have clearly made positive changes to my life. Actually, like so, and I see it every single day. So it's like, you make that joke, but it's like, still think we're better than a lot of other people. a lot of other, not like that, but just I'm not eating Jenny's every day, and I'm not doing the bad decisions that I was making before.
That's another thing that Tyler talks about too. He's a dating coach, and he talks about like learning how to get better at talking to girls. And he says so many guys have these expectations. They're like, oh, I want to be good at it right away, and they beat themselves up when it doesn't work. But he says when he started out, his expectations were so low that if he even had a conversation with a new girl, he was happy about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm doing to myself. And we've talked about this in a million times in different words, but it's like I expect this level of progress all the time.
Yeah, that's saying that you're good enough to do all these things every single day. Mm-hmm. That's saying that you're, I don't know, that you have more value, I guess, or that you care about yourself enough to put the time into yourself. Right? Like, so if I'm doing all these things that really only take 2 hours or whatever, but like most people don't do them, all the things, the meditation, the eating, the running, the working out, like on such a consistent level. And if I'm taking care of myself, then like, I think that shows that I care about myself, I think that shows that I take some sort of value in myself, I guess. Is that a good way of putting it? I take some sort of value in myself, or I take like pride in myself.
Well, you're being responsible for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what you didn't have in Denver, right?
Yeah, nah. Not much respect for myself. But what is that? I don't know. Because I had fun walking to Jenny's and kicking the soccer ball with you and stuff like that as I was getting fatter every day. I didn't know that. I mean, I knew it was bad, but I didn't like, I don't know.
That's messed up too. That you can't be sure of what you felt anymore because you think you had fun.
I don't trust my mind at all.
Yeah, like that's what I'm thinking right now. You're saying that you had fun. I'm thinking I do remember having fun, but I also bet there was just an underlying sadness and disappointment in myself. So it's like you can have both. I can laugh and joke around with you, but also kind of be upset with myself.
Yeah, I don't need to be crying every second and be like, oh, it was a sad time. No, I could have just been sad, you know. Yeah, like you said, yeah. I don't know. I think at least now I'm happier with investing. Like, at least I know that all the investments that I'm doing are going into myself, you know, and like I'm just, whereas before, like the work and stuff like that, I never really saw any direct connections to, promotions and stuff, but like they never really caused any sort of happiness or anything. So it's like
money, dude.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, what did that do for you when you did get those promotions and you did get a higher salary? That didn't make happiness, or did it? I'm genuinely curious. I have no idea.
I don't remember, dude. I don't know.
I don't think I ever got a promotion in my life.
Money just, the bills were just paid, so it's like, why would I care about it? So the money just went into the account. Everything was withdrawn.
Were you building this idea in your head of getting to a certain amount of money to buy another house, or like, would seeing the number in the bank account?
No, it was just get more.
Well, that's what you were doing though.
Yeah.
Right? So did it feel good? You don't really remember?
I don't really remember. Maybe that the money was so good at that time that it was like, who the fuck cares about your health? Like, you're making so much money, or like, you know what I mean? You're not that fat. Who cares? You have this idea that like you can go to Jenny's.
I think that is what people
14
do
hours.
too. It's another version of the plate spinning. It's like, okay, well, if I'm making my finance plate spin this fast, I'll be able to slow that down and then spin the health plate later, right?
Yeah, maybe that's what I said. Yeah.
Maybe that's the opposite of what I'm doing right now. It's like, okay, well, I'm getting the health plate really good, but the finance plate's really slow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then being honest with yourself too. It's like, well, which one's actually important right now?
Yeah, because when it all comes down to it, even the statement I said earlier, like feeling better than other people, whatever, it's like, it doesn't matter. It all comes back down to, as long as I feel good about what I'm doing, or at least with my
and you don't know what other people are feeling.
Yeah.
It's pointless. The comparison game is pointless.
I guess I always want to, because I'm always like, well, if I eat that kind of food, I would feel bad. Or if I drank every night, I would feel bad. How do they not? There's always like that, like, how do they get to do that and I don't? Because I'm not doing that, because I know that it makes me feel bad or whatever. Like looking into people eating bad food, looking into people, drinking whatever. Like there's always this like will to think
jealousy.
that I'm missing out, even though I know that it causes a bad negative effect on myself. I don't really understand.
That's all that matters then.
Yeah.
That's really all that matters.
So then why on Friday nights do I want to have that urge to like go party with everybody else on the weekend? Oh, it's the weekend. There's no fucking weekend. Like,
right. Well, it's like I'll say the same thing. I don't know about you, but for me, I know that I do agree with that. On Friday and Saturday nights, yeah, there's no need to go out because there is no Friday and Saturday nights. But I do know that it would help my progress as a man that I want to be sometimes. So I wouldn't say that I feel like you, that I'm missing out on partying and all that, but I'm missing out on progress. So I see going out as an opportunity for progress that I miss out on.
Yeah, partying is not really the term that I was going for. Just like opportunity to be doing something versus not doing something, which is what I'm usually doing on a Friday night.
And I mean, if other people are drinking and all that, personally, all I can say is that what you just said, it doesn't work for me. And actually, I think maybe I was somebody that other people looked at, back in the day, back in college. I drank all the time, and I looked like I was having a lot of fun. And I guess I was having a lot of fun, but I'll say the same thing I said about Denver. It's like, I think there was this background noise of disliking myself.
Yeah.
So even though that's what people do when they're partying, like, I think...
Just a numbing.
You're numbing that pain, and then covering over
I said it the other day.
Partying.
I said, anything just to feel different. You know what I mean? Like we're all just trying to achieve a different. That's what everybody works all week for, so they can get drunk, so that they don't have to feel like themselves. You know what I mean? Or so they don't have to think about what.
And that's the exact thing I'm trying to get away from.
Yeah.
That's the goal is
not to try to escape. Yeah.
Daily happiness.
Yeah, not to try to want to be around yourself, not to try to want to be around in your head. Like you want to be comfortable with your head, so that when you are alone, because there's so much alone time, that you're just okay with it.
Yeah. There was this thing on Reddit. It was a picture, and it was illustrating like self-improvement versus going backwards, and it was a math thing, so it's kind of whatever. But it was 1.01 times a million equals a big number. 0.99 times a million equals a very small number. So that it's a very small difference between improvement and regression, but it's if you do it every single day, that's when you get, to this better place. And it's like, well, you could have spent the last 6 months drinking and going to hot bodies every night, but where would you be now?
Yeah. So are we going to look back on this time and say happy, sad? Are we going to build it up to be something that... Because we always just take these periods in time and be like, I was happy in Denver, I was sad in Denver. Dude, there was so much I was experiencing in Denver. I have no idea. Like,
well,
I guess we don't have to.
I'll appreciate the podcast right now because there is more evidence now of our happiness. Like, even if not on the podcast, it's like videos of the falls or videos of these things we're doing. And
that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, if you look at it in those terms, and also just friends and relationships, I've had way more experiences socially this year than I have in previous years combined.
Yeah.
So it's like, I go through periods of depression, but it's like another moment of gratitude. It's like, it is better now.
Yeah, and it can get better. So like the idea that like you're never, like there's always time to work on it tomorrow. Like there's always more time to just get better at this task at hand, which is life. Just to get better at it all.
It's that same thing that I was talking about, like going to New Hampshire. Like I could look at it as fear of, going on vacation and regressing, or appreciation of my situation here. I think that's the same thing I'm doing in my head about like losing money. It's like, well, I don't want to lose what I've got right now. I really like this. I am having a lot of fun.
So that is your appreciation.
Yeah, I don't want to go back to a job. I don't want to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess that's like, how do you do that then? Yeah, that's the goal right there. I just said it. I don't wanna lose what I got, and I wanna go forward and make myself more stable. I wanna be I don't wanna be one broken leg away from bankruptcy. That's what I am right now. I'm not gonna have health insurance for the foreseeable future, and if I broke my leg or something like that, that's donezo. So how do you make yourself stable? And it's like what I was talking about. It's making yourself more valuable.
Yeah. It's an investment in yourself. All those nights where you're sitting on the couch and you're like, I should go out. That's just an investment in yourself. It's an investment in feeling shitty for the next 20 minutes to get ready to go out. Only to know that you will feel better because you've gone out. It's so fucking easy to say it at the end of a podcast, but it's so hard to experience it at 8:45 on a Friday or 10 o'clock or whatever the fuck, Yep.
But we are learning, right?
I think so. It just, dude, it's so hard to remember, man. That's the thing. It's just like, I forget how I feel all the time. I forget how I felt last week, yesterday. Yeah. I can't even now to go back to like think about how I felt in Denver. No fucking way. I can't possibly.
I think I have at least some idea.
Yeah. I don't trust my mind. I think it would just say it was all negative or it was all one way. We should, that cloudiness then just makes it feel like everything was bad at the time.
I think I do remember specific times. Yeah, it's a ratio. So when I look at Denver, I see good times, but mostly I see stagnation and I see a lot of reclusion and depression on my part. So I do remember incidents of happiness, and I remember good relationships and fun events, but a very big part of the time, if you remember correctly, we weren't even seeing each other a lot of days. You were kind of doing your thing, I was doing my thing, then you would go to bed, I would watch TV and then go to bed. And that would be 5 days in a row until we forced ourselves to do something on the weekend.
Yeah. Now maybe that included like a FIFA game a night or something like that, or not, but...
Yeah, so what I'm talking about, again, it's the ratio. Yeah. It's like I see a big part of myself being dissatisfied with myself back then. Now it's smaller. To be completely honest, it is smaller now. I do feel like you're saying, like there are low periods, but I don't think it's a big cloud in my head. I think I can be honest with myself and say, I was depressed last week. I feel better now. I still don't feel great, but I feel better now. 3 weeks ago, I was, I don't think it's really that difficult for me. I don't know. Yeah, but that's another thing there. So why? So I should appreciate that then. It's getting better.
Yeah. I just sometimes it's just not very clear. I sometimes just get trapped in that. I don't know.
It's the other thing too, where progress is non-linear a lot of times. So actually, you just experienced this today in a very real way. No elite runner is going to run a faster mile every time they run. It actually goes better mile, worse mile, better mile, worse mile, better mile, worse mile, worse mile, worse mile. But if the trend is upwards, but if you lose sight of that, then every single dip you feel, you let it get into your head, it's like the end of the world. And that's kind of what our moods do. We have these very intense moods where we get caught in the moment and we lose sight of...
Yeah, we want change immediately.
Yeah, it's like, no, it'll be better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that girl blew you off tonight, but you'll see her in a couple days. It's really easy to forget that and be like, no, I suck completely. I ran a slower mile, got blown off, the whole thing's over.
Yeah. Better problems. Definitely better problems. But still the same nitpicky, drama-inducing self, though, apparently. Because I'm causing that, Yeah.
I think then this podcast is a pretty good example of what you wanted, honesty. It's because I think we probably asked just as many questions as we gave answers.
That wasn't, not much knowledge being dropped here, for me at least. It was just pretty foggy. This is just pretty much an outpouring of how I feel right now, I don't really think, I can't even really remember what the stuff that I've even talked about on the podcast, earlier.
We went over the same thing in different words a few times.
Yeah.
But another thing that I just thought of is a lot of people don't do that at all. At least we are talking about it. We are talking about our inner problems. And I think that it's better than not.
All right, so name your 5, or name whatever your worries are right now. Get them out.
Worries?
Yeah. What's causing the biggest amount, what when you're running through your meditation, what's coming into mind and what's eating up those?
Well, okay, so if you put a number on it, I have to either make it bigger or smaller. So 5, I'll go with stagnation of the podcast, never doing anything important as a writer, regression in my own self-belief, especially socially, if I'm not getting out there, regression in self-belief as a personality. That goes back to the podcast, but it has to do with stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
And then I guess all of those do get rooted into this 5th one, which is very important, is fear of embarrassment and humiliation, of failure, of people being like, oh, he tried, but he failed.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't,
Who's ever said that, too? Who's ever really...
It's the fear thing. It's this projection.
Because the person that would point out the person that failed would be the person that's not really doing anything. Because if I'm doing something, I don't have time to point out the fucking failures that are around.
It doesn't matter, though, does it?
I know. I'm just saying...
Yeah.
Or that's a rational thought.
Yes.
But it's an irrational thing that we both deal with every single day.
Yes.
So, yeah. I don't have fucking time to deal with... There shouldn't be time to deal with the drama. You should just be so focused on the tasks that are at hand during the day that I don't have time to get caught up in the drama.
Yes, you do, though.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't have enough going on, apparently. So, yeah.
Do you want to give your 5 too?
Oh, man. Yours are so good. Mine don't sound that good. Mine are just money, not not feeling confident with myself. These are in no specific order. I didn't mean to put you on the spot to make them in a specific order.
Yeah.
Definitely confident in myself. That's one I run through daily. and then
In
money.
what way? Just in general?
Yeah, just like, how do I feel? How do I look at myself in the mirror today? Like, how do I view myself today? And like that changes at different points throughout the day. That changes if I just finished a workout, if I haven't done a workout. If like Tuesday, I didn't do a workout until 8:30 at night or to go 8 o'clock at night to do the running club. And man, I felt my self-image all day just was in the shit. Like I just felt so poor.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know if we might have talked about that in the podcast before, but we should definitely just define it in a real way. You actually asked it earlier, but we didn't really. You said, how do you look at yourself? Like, what do you see in the mirror? And it's like, if you have self-esteem issues, you can literally see a different reflection.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, yeah, I see like a dude that's got like titties and like just feels shitty. Like fat and just like not confident, like I slouched over, like just not presenting myself.
But then within 24 hours
But
before
no, not
after,
even 24 hours, dude. I can go for a run, come back sweaty and be like, damn, you're looking good, Steve. So it's so fucking like, and I think so like that's something that's always running through my head during meditation is just like how to think of myself, you know.
I hope what that is too is that's just like it's your body and your mind trying to align, and like hopefully it'll get there, because you know you and I both are kind of fairly new to feeling confident.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a new thing we're trying on. And it doesn't fit all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So
I feel very fake as like with my shirt off. I feel so fake.
Hopefully, it fits more and more, you know, and then
it'll just be undeniable. Is my hope that it's just so undeniably false of a realization that I'm not a fat piece of shit. Maybe just one day I'll just look so fucking good.
I don't think.
I know it's so stupid. I know.
Yeah,
But that's what's going on in my mind to justify it. Is just like, you know, you can look better. Well, I can always look better, of course. Or my mind just justifies it as like, keep going.
Yeah.
Because the other opposite is to stop and be like, oh, I'm comfortable. I look so fucking good. And then I eat a cheeseburger and I feel bad about myself. It's so confusing. I don't understand. Both ways suck. You either just starve or you eat fucking burgers. Life. That would be my commercial for life.
Yeah, but the only reason the burgers thing is even in there is because you're programmed to eat that. Like that, dude, that's just addiction. I mean, I know you like to talk about like, oh, I like good food and all that, but it's like, if it didn't exist, it's not like a normal thing. Like a cheeseburger with blue cheese and all that, it's not a part of life. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Jiu-jitsu wasn't always a part of life. They taught themselves that.
Working out was.
Yeah.
Just progress in that.
Cows existed. The need for meat existed.
Yeah.
Just saying. Yeah, it's an addiction, but
I think we're fighting our addictions, like addiction to laziness, addiction to food, and when we're saying that we're frustrated, what we're frustrated about is that we have to work hard.
Yeah, we're frustrated. There's no easy pill just to make it easy.
I'm tired. I don't want to do.
But then again, if everybody just took a pill to feel good, then
Brave New World.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no reality.
Yeah.
In that book that I was reading, Kindred, it's a book where an African American writer goes back in time through the sci-fi mechanism and is put on a plantation, like a slavery containing plantation, and her husband's there with her too, so he experiences it too, and they'll intermittently go back back and forth in time. So they go back to their apartment, and one thing that they say was really, really interesting is like, it sucks back in 1876, like it's awful, the comfort is low, but it feels so much realer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what like struggle and like hardship does. Like it grounds you with this sense of realness, but we don't want it. It's good for you, but you don't want it.
Yeah. Is tiredness just like your body's like weakness, like your body's way of like fighting to not? Because do we really need to sleep as much as we are? Do we like?
No,
like,
it's not tiredness. You're lying yourself there.
Exactly right. Like, I'm not too tired to go out to blow glass. I can physically walk and I can physically move my hands, and my thought process is still working. Like I should be able to blow glass at any time, but it's just like some days I'm just like, I'm too tired. What a fucking easy excuse that is.
Yeah, and then I mean we're so sensitive to the self-torture that every time that happens, you're taking yourself down.
Yeah, I go, what the fuck? You said you were gonna blow glass today, Steve. Come on.
So then it's like this idea of tiredness that you already don't believe, and then you use that as a mechanism to not do what you're supposed to do, and that's what I've been doing all month. That's when that piles on, and it's that's like the number 0.99 to the exponent. That builds up that self doubt, and I thought I was going to make progress, but I'm not making progress today. I'm not making progress today either. I didn't make progress yesterday or the day before. I'm not making progress today either. Then that you call it lighting a fire under your ass. Maybe that is the consequence and the benefit, but in the turmoil, it really is a loss of self-belief.
Yeah, and how many days have gotten by. Like I always look back to the Fidelity days and think of how little I accomplished. Just nothing. I just went to work and then came home, and like I felt good about that as a day. I was like, oh, I went to work. Like I did.
You're right.
I didn't accomplish anything. I didn't fucking work out or like do anything, meditate or really take care of myself or go out and walk outside or go do anything. I didn't really even enjoy the things that I did have. I had dogs and stuff like that. I didn't even want to play with them. Like I was just exhausted from doing what I thought I was supposed to do. So I guess
maybe that's the difference. Like that, I think there's elements of the same tiredness that we feel now, but that was a realer tiredness because you really did sit in traffic two ways and then work all day.
Yeah. I was thinking the other day, I was like walking around and I was like outside and I was like, man, it's like 11, it's like 12 o'clock and I'm already so tired. We'd already done the gym, we'd already done all this stuff. And then I was like, how would I have done this after 12 hours at work and then 2 hours in traffic, 14 hours, 15 hours a day, just not even dedicated to myself in order to take care of myself when I got home? I'm never going to do that. Jesus, I can't even do it when I have 24 hours for myself.
And that's why people talk about too, they say, well, I can't work out, I'm too tired. And then we have kind of a strict disciplinarian approach. It's like, yes, you have time, but it's not the time, it's really the willpower. When people say they're too tired, what they mean is like, I don't have enough brain power to make the right decision. We're running on a battery here, and we're kind of just saying the same thing over and over, but
okay.
I mean,
yeah,
we're trying.
Yeah, can't say that we're not acknowledging what's going on around us, even if some of it is self-induced. At least I'm acknowledging what's going on, maybe to help prevent me from inducing more in the future. I don't fucking know.
We're still here, and if there's another one, you'll find out.
Yeah, we haven't killed ourselves yet. That's what you were fucking saying. We're still here, yeah. We haven't blown our brains out yet. We're still doing this.
KyleCast.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's still there.